broadcasting across the nation from the East Coast to the West, keeping you up to date on technology while enjoying a little whiskey on the side, with leading-edge topics, along with special guests, to navigate technology in a segmented, stylized radio program. The information that will make you go, Pull up a seat, raise a glass with our hosts as we spend the next hour talking about technology for the common person. Welcome to TechTime Radio with Nathan Mumm.
Well, welcome to Tech Time with Nathan Mumm, the show that makes you go, technology news of the week, the show for the everyday person talking about technology, broadcasting across the nation with insightful segments on subjects weeks ahead of the mainstream media. We welcome our radio audience of 35 million listeners to an hour of insightful technology news. I am Nathan Mumm, your host and technologist with over 30 years of technology expertise. Our co-host here, Mike Corday, is the award-winning author and our human behavior expert. Now, we're live streaming during our show on four of the most popular platforms, including YouTube, Twitch.tv, Facebook, and LinkedIn. We encourage you to visit us online at techtimeradio.com and become a Patreon supporter at patreon.com/techtimeradio. And when you visit our website, make sure you take a look at all of our whiskey reviews going all the way back to season 2 of our show. Now, we're friends from different backgrounds, but we bring the best technology show possible weekly for our family, friends, and fans to enjoy. We're glad to have Odie, our producer, at the control panel today. Welcome, everyone. Let's start today's show.
Now on today's show.
All right, today on Tech Time Radio, imagine placing an AI order for dessert and getting something lethal. Sounds absurd? Well, AI might be playing a risky game with recipe suggestions. Plus, what if your dinner arrived today, but your bill wasn't due until next month? Is it a convenience or a slippery slope? And while the AI world battles for dominancy in court, a single misleading post sent financial markets into a multi-trillion-dollar meltdown. How did it happen? And then there's OpenAI taking on Elon Musk in a lawsuit packed with bad blood accusations. Plus, our fan favorite segment letters will expose the lady phishing scams targeting our inbox. All of this and more, so stick around as we uncover the newest technology weeks ahead of the mainstream media and, of course, with a little whiskey on the side. In addition to those, we have, of course, Mike's mesmerizing moment, the technology fail of the week, and a possible Nathan Nugget, and our pick of the day whiskey tasting to see if our selected whiskey pick gets 0, 1, or 2 thumbs up by the end of the show. But now, it's time for the latest headlines in the world of technology.
Here are our top technology stories of the week.
All right, story number 1, OpenAI sues Elon Musk, claiming bad faith tactics. Now, last week, X sued Sam Altman, and so this week we're having OpenAI sue Elon Musk. I guess they're just going to keep on suing each other until they have it. This is what I think we need to do. We need to get them both in a cage fight, and whoever comes out victorious is the winner. What do you think of that?
Hasn't that already happened in some sort of?
Well, Elon's tried to do a couple other things.
Yeah, hasn't he challenged people to a duel?
He has.
Where I don't know if we're in the the 1500s or not, but
Well, so you have OpenAI is suing Elon Musk, X is suing Sam Altman. Sam Altman will be suing Elon Musk and every other entity between them because of AI.
Well, let's get Mark Zuckerberg in on this and see if he'll do a case.
Well, you know what? I don't know if his AI is good enough to be competing yet. So I guess that's kind of the
okay.
That's right. All right, but you know what? Let's go to Lisa Walker for more on the story.
Mr. Musk alleges that OpenAI strayed from its founding mission as a non-profit to develop AI for the benefit of humanity and is therefore in breach of contract. He left the company in 2018. This is about control. Lightman said it has been a distraction from making AI safe and equitable. That takes a backseat with all this rigmarole over control and monetization, Lightman said. OpenAI claims Mr. Musk has been spreading false information about us in an X post last week, adding, Elon's never been about the mission. He's always been about his own agenda. Back to you guys in the studio.
I don't know. Do you think Elon Musk is on his own agenda? Do you think that's what he's on?
Are you asking me that question?
Seriously? Yeah. Do you think that?
My father used to say that I march to the beat of my own drum.
Yeah.
That's exactly what Elon does. He
Yeah.
marches to the beat of his own. Everything he does is his own agenda. He doesn't do anything on anybody else's.
Yes. So here's what happened. Last week we had a lawsuit come on out. This week we have the essential countersuit opening up. This is a battle between the two Silicon Valley heavyweights. Both of them are acting in the best interests of, they say, open AI and the public. So Elon Musk doesn't want open AI.
Let's get Solomon out here and threaten to split it up with a sword and see who likes it.
So the essentially Elon is saying that he wants OpenAI to not go public and continue to be a private nonprofit organization, so that his Grok can end up taking over and being the dominant AI. Which Grok is actually 4.0 is actually pretty good. It's pretty good now. They're starting to actually kind of make some waves and becoming in the battle itself. Now, OpenAI says, hey, forget you. We want to become a for-profit company. We can be better with that than being the nonprofit. We can go and do different stuff. We can hire more people. There's not as many regulations.
And they can make lots and lots of money.
They can, because the stock would, of course, be worth that. Now, it's really interesting because last week, a federal judge in Oakland, California, set a March 2026 trial date. So this is going to go all the way into next year, March 2026. So they're going to just be back and forth sniping at each other. One will be doing it on X and the other one will be doing it probably on Blue Sky or some other platform, complaining about each other. It's interesting because they may actually have a chance to go public before the actual lawsuit or trial date of 2026 even happens. So OpenAI may be a public company by the time this lawsuit actually goes into effect, and they have that. So Elon Musk is just online just complaining about OpenAI. OpenAI is just saying, hey, if you want to sell us Twitter, they don't even call it X. If you want to sell us Twitter, you know what, we'll buy it from you type of deal. Now, in February, we talked about that. Mr. Musk made an unsolicited bid for OpenAI to buy it for $97.4 billion, which Altman rejected and posted, no, thank you, but we'll buy Twitter for $9.74 billion. So it's actually the same number, move the decimal over type of deal. And so now we're in a battle. So this is going to be happening for quite a long time. These two AIs are going to keep on going against each other. Now, Elon Musk did help set up OpenAI as a nonprofit organization and did help fundraise for it as a nonprofit. So he does have some legs to stand on, but he's just kind of being a little greedy, in my opinion. And I think they should move on and go and do a cage match, and whoever wins owns the decision-making process. All right, let's go on to story number 2.
That's all you got to say about that?
Well, I mean, what else are we supposed to say? So Sam Altman is my buddy now. I really like him, so I'm going to side with him until he goes crazy. I used to like Elon Musk back in the day.
Until he went crazy?
Yeah, until he went. Well, he may have always been crazy, but at least he hit it at first. So,
Elon lives in 80s science fiction.
He does.
He lives there.
He kind of lives in his own little area.
That I can't.
You can't say much more about that.
Can't say much more about that because if you look at everything he does, it's all based on what we grew up with in science fiction.
Going to Mars, doing this AI
electric
stuff.
Cars,
Terminator
brain implants.
Yeah, from the Matrix. So he watches a movie from Hollywood and says, "Hey, I'm going to actually develop that technology." So you know what he needs to do? He needs to work on a transporter. You know what? I want to transport from.
Let's let him. Let's rein him in a little bit. He doesn't need to be going out.
Get rid of the government stuff. Get him out of the government stuff. Just tell him he can work on a transporter. That's his big thing now. Just wait till he runs for president in like 4 years. And then Trump will try to run for president again too. And then they could just have it out. Never mind. Okay.
All right. I don't know why that came up, but hey, let's talk about.
Did you hear Trump is going to try to go for a third term? Okay, continuing on.
Okay. Let's talk about how AI creates lethal recipes for you.
Okay.
So a new AI app called RecipeNinja.ai, which was created by an entrepreneur named Tom Blomfield, has produced unusual recipes that include instructions for making cyanide ice cream, uranium bomb, and other lethal or gross recipes.
Oh boy.
Vibe coding is a recent trend where individuals with minimal coding skills quickly create software using AI tools, or maybe A1 tools. I should use that.
Okay.
That's a big
A1 steak sauce?
That's a big thing this week. The Department of Education lady was talking about it.
And she called
being
it
A1.
A1. Okay.
Yep. And A1 did the awesome thing and took full advantage of that.
Did they? Oh, that's a good
That's right.
marketing social.
Anyway, this coding focuses on functionality rather than efficiency. Blomfeld mentioned that this approach helped him develop Recipe Ninja. The recipe for cyanide ice cream
Okay, cyanide ice
starts
cream.
with mixing heavy cream, milk, sugar, and vanilla extract.
Okay, that sounds good.
That sounds like a normal thing to do, but the next step instructs users to add a lethal amount of potassium cyanide powder, which is extremely toxic and will kill you.
If ingested, right? Oh,
Yes.
geez. Oh, man. Okay. All right. Okay.
This comes along with other bizarre dishes like platypus milk cream soup,
Ooh.
cholera-inspired chocolate cake,
Ooh.
and a deleted recipe, which I will not say on the radio.
Okay.
But you might have it come up with the song "Bounce Bounce Chicka Bounce Bounce."
Okay.
There you go.
There you go.
Anyway, it seems Blomfield has started to implement content moderation after users discovered they could create recipes that were either dangerous or nonsensical. He expressed surprise, I don't know why, at how easily he could integrate various AI tools without needing extensive coding knowledge. He emphasized that as long as the application functioned properly, he didn't mind how much code it took to make the work. While having a voice-controlled recipe app sounds appealing, the lack of restriction on user-generated recipes led to the creation of dangerous and absurd options, which is how this always comes about when AI picks up on these weird things.
And
it's
people
always user-generated.
Yeah, and people always go, and then it just gets a huge bump. So I almost think that sometimes this is done on purpose. But
Well, maybe this is kind of like the tech equivalent of a leaked sex video.
Yeah.
For, you know. Why
What
are
do
you
you got?
laughing? Yeah.
Wow. How do you, okay.
Anyway, this situation is a continual illustration of the risk associated with quickly deploying generative AI tools without proper oversight, which, we know there is very little of that to go around anyway. Blomfield, of course, did not reply to requests for comments regarding the app. This isn't the first time AI has produced troubling food-related results. Like last time we reported on glue on pizza.
Yeah.
So
So what goes into somebody deciding to make this AI tool that does these type of items? I mean, clearly cyanide ice cream.
Well, I'm pretty sure he didn't start with this idea in mind.
No, he started.
He
with
was like, "Hey, this might make me some money by making it easy to make recipes," and then he did what everybody else.
So
does.
he probably is
Released
using
it
a
to the
generic large language model. He probably didn't put any hooks in there to keep it
Probably
safe.
OpenAI, right?
It could have been the OpenAI's, because it's still the nonprofit version of an older one, and then he could just make cyanide ice cream.
Well,
Just think, if you actually did that and then give that to somebody and you say, "Hey, my defense is that I got this online." Sure.
Actually, that would end up in the court system
Yeah.
as being, I didn't know it was bad. How did you get the potassium cyanide? Well, I had to go do some illegal things to get that, but
That's right. All right.
okay.
All right. Ready for story number 3? This is an interesting. This is
I don't know. You want to talk about ice cream some more, or maybe some of the soup?
no, none of the soup. We're gonna stay away from the soup. There you go.
Bow,
But-
bow, chicka, bow.
That's right. All right. News has sparked a heated debate about predatory practices of BNPL companies. Do you know what BNPL stands for? Buy now.
The nipple.
Buy now, pay later. Now, should you be able to finance your McFlurry order?
If you have to finance a McFlurry order, you shouldn't be getting a McFlurry.
Okay, that's what we're going to talk about. All right, Swedish fintech firm, and they're called Klarna. So it's like Karma. Essentially, with Klarna is now the name for it. Has partnered with
How did
DoorDash.
you get the Karma from? Is that just like some sort of?
So Karma. So they actually they applied for Karma as their main trade name. That's why I know
is
that.
that
So,
how?
yeah.
Okay.
So they got stuck with Klarna. Klarna is partnering with DoorDash to offer buy now, pay later options for food deliveries. The initiative is noteworthy advancement in the expanding of everyday spending categories, according to the chief Commercial officer David Sykes. With this partnership with DoorDash, customers can finance their delivery purchase through a series of monthly payments. It's a significant win because it's directly responsive to the financial strains Americans are experiencing, particularly as inflation affects food prices.
Is that how they look at it?
That's how they look at it.
Okay.
So that's how they look at it.
It's a significant win because we can make more money off of these people.
Now, the question in play is, should you be ordering DoorDash if you're unable to pay for that order in full? That is what I'm going at. Now, rising consumer demands and inflation concerns have come on out, and the Pew Research recently revealed that 73% of Americans view inflation as their primary economic concern, with grocery prices being a significant issue. Now, Klarna offers various payment options, including pay in full, pay in 4, and pay later. Now, the pay in 4 allows customers to split their payment into 4 interest-free installments, while pay later enables them to postpone payments for up to 30 days without interest. Now, these versatile payment options have proven so popular that they made Klarna a notable standard in how Americans make purchases. Now, so I am totally struggling with this buy now, pay later.
This is okay.
I do not get why I would order groceries if I can't go to the store and pick up groceries by riding a bus. I mean, if I'm financially not able to pay for my bills, I should be able to use a community transit or some type of transit utility to go to a grocery store, buy my groceries, or go to a place that will help me.
You're talking about financial enslavement here.
Okay,
this is a way of these companies jumping on the bandwagon of basically enslaving people with continuous. Because let's take a look at this.
Yeah.
How often do you buy groceries?
My wife buys them, I think, 3 or 4 times a month.
So once a week, maybe?
So yeah,
you buy
about
groceries once a week.
Yep.
If you have 1 week, and I'm not a financial planner in any sense of the word, but mathematically, this is just the stupidest thing ever, right?
Yeah.
If I buy groceries the first week of the month, and then I split those payments out to 4 payments.
Yep.
And then I buy groceries the next week and split those payments out, I now owe 2 payments. And then the third week, I now owe 3 payments. And then the fourth week, I now owe 4 payments that are going to be existing out over the next few months.
Yes.
And so each time I do that, I build a greater and greater debt load to this company so that I will always be buying food. And if I always buy them with this pay now or buy now, pay later option, I will be indebted to that food company
forever,
long after I stop eating food.
Yeah, that is correct. I don't get this. So, Odie, your generation, would you? So, as you know, this could be a generational gap because I talked with other people and they're like, "Oh, this isn't a big deal. I'll make sure I pay for it." Would you ever buy something on DoorDash and say, "I'll pay later"?
So, personally, no, but that is because I know how to manage my credit cards. So I don't need, if I am in an emergency situation and I don't have the money on my debit card, I have a bunch of credit cards to choose from. But I have a friend who actually loves Klarna because their credit score is not as great, and they'll use Klarna for the buy now or buy in 4 payments, and it's easier to get than a credit card, and it's less of a risk, I want to say.
Okay,
how is it less of a risk?
Well, I see it as less of a risk because they show you you just have to make $30 payments 4 times. Yeah. And that to them looks better and more manageable than the pay this off in a month.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
That is the problem, but
it's so attractive.
This is exactly the same trap. This is exactly the same trap as using your credit cards to buy groceries and other what do you call those? I can't think of the term necessities. Yeah, they're revolving. Yeah. And this is the exact same problem that payday loan companies.
Yes. So I see it as a less harsh payday loan. Okay. I haven't seen that people are constantly into the Klarna kind of thing for groceries. I've seen it for big events or concerts and stuff like that. That's what I've seen it being used for, or vacation.
Okay.
The everyday necessities is where I kind of okay. I see it as more like another credit option if you can't get a card.
Yeah, I just don't know why I'd pay somebody to deliver me. I have to pay a delivery fee on DoorDash, and then I have to ideally tip the person because the person is doing it for a tip. So there's an additional cost, and then that also gets financed in there. So if I get up and I go and buy groceries myself,
so I don't know how you could have a struggle with this. I mean, this is bad financials, and what it also does is what we don't think about is encourages people to buy more stuff that they don't need.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So
I understand.
if I have $100 in my pocket for groceries, and I go in the grocery store, I can only buy a certain amount of things in the grocery store.
Yeah, so I buy cheaper stuff.
So
I buy the knockoff brands. I don't buy Oreos.
I'm forced to moderate my spending in order to feed myself.
Right,
Hydrox. Ugh.
But
that was the original cookie.
I know, because the Oreos are too expensive.
Anyway, back to that. But if I have the option, of buying groceries, and then split it into a payment that I have to pay $30 today, then I am in my brain's going, okay, we can get more stuff, and so we're actually inflating that grocery bill.
Well, then maybe.
What?
I don't know. I see it from the way that my friend uses it. I feel like I don't think she would go for the everyday item like groceries.
Okay.
But for something like a concert or a vacation, it makes a lot more sense to her that way.
Okay. All right. Well, you know what?
But that's not the average consumer.
Klarna's out there. It's now.
That's all. If you talk, go talk to financial advisors. They'll tell you exactly the same thing. This is a bad financial move.
Well, that wraps up our top technology stories of the week. Now we're going to get ready to dive into our later segment that features scams submitted by listeners and some studio selected issues. Be sure to listen and share this segment with a friend. Get ready to hit that 88 miles per hour as we're heading on to our next segment. We'll catch you after this commercial break.
Looking for custom glass solutions for your next commercial project? Hartung Glass Industries is your trusted partner in custom glass fabrication. For over 100 years, Hartung has delivered proven manufacturing expertise, comprehensive product offerings, and dependable service and quality. From energy-efficient facades to custom shower doors, we create glass solutions tailored to your project needs. With 8 facilities across the U.S. and Canada, we combine national expertise with a local touch-ensuring faster service and unparalleled customer care. Hartung Glass Industries, where quality meets innovation. Visit hartungglass.com to learn more.
All right. Welcome back to Tech Time with Nathan Mumm. Our weekly show covers the top technology subjects without any political agenda. We verify the facts and we do it with a sense of humor in less than 60 minutes. And of course, a little whiskey on the side. Today, Mark Gregoire, our whiskey connoisseur, is in studio and has our whiskey taste for the day. Mark, what are we tasting?
Today is A. Overholt Monongahela Mash Straight Rye Whiskey.
Gesundheit. Are you okay? Where do they get that title from?
Well, let's talk about that from Old Overholt's website. Embracing the legacy and the future of American rye whiskey. Abe Overholt pioneered American rye whiskey with conviction. Today, the A honors our founder as we continue the evolution of American rye into the future. The first release of A. Overholt features this Monongahela mash. Centuries ago, farmers distilled in the Monongahela Valley, which cultivated rye and became the first American whiskey, renowned for big, robust flavor of brown butter, honeysuckle, cloves, seasoned oak, finishing with notes of warm spice, inspired by Pennsylvania roots, as straightforward as ever. So it's named after the valley, which is, I believe, an ancient Indian name.
Okay. All right.
And this is from Beams Suntory, which is distilled at Jim Beam's Distillery in Claremont, Kentucky. It's a straight rye, 4 years, 95 proof. It's 80% of the Monongahela rye, and 20% malted barley, and it's $40.
Dude, this is good.
Yeah.
This is really good. I what do you think, Mike?
I think it's an interesting taste.
It has an interesting taste.
I did for the first time actually single out the honeysuckle. For the first time,
you got the honeysuckle.
For the first time, I tasted something that's in your description of all the things and tastes in there. So
Did you get any brown butter?
Maybe.
I don't know.
Maybe,
Okay.
but I definitely had that sweet honeysuckle taste.
All right. This is now it's not a cork top though, is it? Or is it a screw on top?
Oh, it looks like screw on, right?
It does
So
look
let's
like
just
a screw-on.
unscrew it. Pop.
Oh,
It's a cork.
Oh, look at that.
Oh,
Cork
yeah.
top.
Nathan just made soup.
Yeah, you know what? Wow. There you go. Oh, it's a chunk. All right. Well, we'll see how this continues to go. With our whiskey tasting completed, our first segment.
Are you sure?
That is actually really good. Yeah, I had a little bit, maybe too much. Today
There's
we're
plenty more that you can have.
okay. Well, that's good.
I don't need to bring it home.
Really? You don't like this, huh?
We'll talk about that.
All
later.
right. Okay. All right. Well,
I don't think you should have it.
today we bring back the funny yet informative reading of emails that I received during the week. This includes scam, phishing emails, texting scams, and all-out mistruths disguised as legitimate emails. In our segment that we love called Letters.
Letters, we get letters. We get back and back of letters. Oh, letters, we get letters. And the letters all have
All right. For all those that are watching, what we do is we have a round table. We go to each one of our individuals here that have a story to read regarding our letters, and then we talk about what happens. I'm going to go first today, and then we'll go Odie, Mark, and with Mike, and we'll see what we got going on here. So my letter comes from ISMG events, events at img/summits2s's.com. Now, the 2 S's is very important because this is what is called copying somebody else's actual event itself. So join Seattle's top security leaders at ISMG's Data Security Summit, Seattle on June 10th at the Maidenbauer Center. Now, guess what? There's an actual event going on June 10th at the Maidenbauer Center that actually covers this information. This year's summit will dive into the latest security machine, identities, mitigation risks, and AI-generated code. Now, request a complimentary registration is available. Now, they cut and pasted all the information from the Seattle Agenda's highlights, including the person's name that is actually in charge of this event. Too bad that doesn't actually go to the person or anything that needs to be taken care of. But what they do is they actually have a request for complimentary registration. Now, if you go and take a look at their website, the website doesn't have a request for complimentary registration. And when you click on this link, it goes to a Google form. Now, the Google form is very impressive. It has a lot of the information from the actual summit itself, taking a real life event and actually just adding an additional S to the email domain name that they have. They're able to collect data and information about what your salary ranges are, your titles, your information, because that's all a part of the form to fill out, which is pretty standard for some of these events that you attend regularly for like a security summit. And then they get your information. Now, once you submit the information, it takes you to a confirmation page. And the confirmation page actually has this kind of unique difference. It doesn't have the actual logo to the event itself. It has another logo that they looked like they grabbed off of a website that they used for a security summit from someplace else. And so after I filled it out, I actually thought this was pretty much legit. I filled it out, and then all of a sudden I see that it is not legit, though it had all that information that was available to share. And so if I wasn't on my PC that I do this and I wasn't actually paying attention, I would have sent all that information in the Google form to this company that was phishing my information.
I'm surprised they didn't add a little credit card, like even though it's a free registration, like, hey, you can get some extra special parking or an upgraded something, just put in your credit card.
That's it. There you go. They should have done something like that. That would have been even a better way to do it. So they just really were fishing for information, and they get all the information about the person, and they can build a setup for that. All right. We're going to go now to story number 2. Odie, what do you have in front of you?
Do you need a business credit card or business line?
I do not.
Well, Lee Cottom has been sending you emails saying, do you need fast funding? They've got you covered. And it looks pretty legit. Honestly,
they should call Klarna.
Yeah, their next competitor. It says, please click the what we know, DocuSign, to start your application. So it says DocuSign application, upload your documents. And it's really,
it looks legit, doesn't it?
It looks really legit. And they're putting like requirements. They say all the benefits of having it and how quick you can get it. Like 2 to 8 hours. Apply now. Your credit line awaits.
I'm surprised you didn't apply for this, Nathan,
No.
with 2 weddings coming up.
I'm
I
assuming
should've.
Yeah, no kidding.
0 fees too.
Yeah.
Maybe
Okay,
you
so
can Klarna those weddings.
that's right. There you go. I can pay for them later. So this is an interesting one. So everything looks legit on this company,
Right.
except for what happens when you actually click on the DocuSign link. And DocuSign does not have a .org. So they actually are, it's a .com company. So it has the whole DocuSign document and it has it hosted in a .org place. So unless you actually are paying attention to it, I'm sure thousands of people have filled out this information, given them, they want to know in the process, you're supposed to upload documents, which are last 2 bank statements, last 2 months of bank statements.
See that?
So they're getting all of your information on your bank. They're seeing it, what your transactions are. And then what happens is you do get denied. So I actually filled this out as a test. They come back to you and they say, well, sorry, your credit isn't taken care of. And I think it's an auto deny because I made it sound like I was a billionaire and a half and I didn't have anything to worry about. And they still came back and said that it was denied. And I said, well, how could it be denied? I have such great credit. Oh, well, we didn't pull any credit report. That's why it's this fast funding, but we need you to do this, this, this. So they keep on going down and they want more bank statements and they want some legal statements. They want to make sure you're a U.S. citizen. So it's just long-term collection data.
That's a lot of work.
It is, and they do resell it on the dark web, and they're one of the premier locations for information. And now let me just tell you, the dark web is becoming a competitive marketplace. So before it used to be that you'd only find like information on 1 or 2 different places. Now there's a competition market on the dark web of where you get your information. Well, my information is less than 3 months old. My information is less than 6 months old, and mine may be $15 a user to get it, but I'm going to give you the most accurate. So you now have a competitive marketplace for thieves that are selling your data because they are getting so much data.
Yeah, and
to
all this crap works because human beings are too poor to pay attention.
Yeah,
that's right.
I mean, if we look at the email, it says it's from Lee Cottam, so like an actual name, and it says apply at sandhconsultants.ccsend.com. That looks like a legit email. It doesn't have all those funky words and letter combinations.
They're getting a lot more sophisticated.
Yeah. But then the important thing to remember is if you're not actively looking to get a new line of credit, there's no reason why you should be receiving these emails.
Yeah. And it's so what's really interesting is that a lot of these have tracking, and there's some new applications out there that are getting really good that you can attach to your email that will show you if there's a tracking token on this. So they want to see, if I click on this, and then once I click on it, how long it goes from here and there. So they're getting pretty sophisticated.
So you gotta apply old guy tactics to this.
And what is that?
Just don't ignore all
Just
your emails.
ignore
all of them. All of them.
All of them are bad?
Yes, all emails.
Okay.
In
All
fact,
right.
don't even open up an email. Just don't.
just
Before I do my story, I do have a question, Nathan, for you on this. So with the competition on the dark web for the marketplaces, how is your marketplace doing?
I don't have a marketplace, but I don't have a marketplace of information. But I do go and take a look and see what they have about me. And so sometimes they have some pretty good information. I'll be honest. They have some really good. They go and take a look at my LinkedIn stuff. Somebody's doing a pretty good job of keeping up to date. So I'll pay $15 every once in a while to do that. Do you know you can do this in the social media world by just going into Google? And there's a way that you can actually search for keywords that get announced out in the press or in major email addresses. So you can actually go on in there and do a search for your Google keywords. And then anytime there's an email or a big press release that comes on out, you can actually get alerted to that with Google Alerts.
So there are companies that scrub your information from the internet.
Yes.
Do those work?
They're pretty good.
Okay.
Yeah, they're pretty good. I mean, the information that they have out there on me is probably about 6 to 8 months old, but it's pretty valid. I mean, it has my mother's maiden name. It's got a whole tree of my parents and my brother and my sons and my wife and all the information.
Oh, you did 23andMe, did you?
No, I didn't do 23andMe. No, they just have all that information. So
sounds like a Nathan nugget for next week.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
Well, I have a throwback one.
Okay.
This is one that our generation used to get all the time, and maybe it's new for the younger generation, but it's Roundup claims. So it's a Roundup lawsuit. If you've been suffering from cancer being exposed to Roundup, please click here. You're due to financial complications.
That was a real case.
Yeah.
So it was. Now, did you realize that case has already been taken care of?
Yeah,
right?
it's been taken care of for a while now.
So I don't know where this new case came on up because it doesn't actually exist. But tell me more about your email there, Mark. But does it say where it came from and everything?
It's from Roundup Claims.
Okay.
Copyright with some IP address.
Okay. Ooh, that's a little odd.
Yeah, from MailChimp.
Okay, from MailChimp. So they use a third-party known tool to send out this deal that I can click on the link. So guess what happens when you click on the link?
Oh, I'm sure it goes somewhere where you got to put in a bunch of stuff.
It does put in a bunch of stuff, but that has so this is like scare tactics 101. They got big red flashes, warning cancer, warning cancer. You can have this. Make sure you live the best life that you can before you die of cancer. You probably have cancer. And so the first thing they want to do is they want to know if you have medical insurance on this form. And if so, you need to put in your medical ID and information so they can make sure they can work with your medical provider so they can get you a cancer screening test done immediately. After you fill out your information, which it looks really legit that they're going to try to help you to see if you have cancer. If you don't have cancer, they're going to do this whole test for you. Then they ask you how you're going to pay for it, that you need to pay a small deposit for it because they have a $49 filing fee. So they have a deposit. So you put your credit card information in. That is probably the worst phishing information that you would have to fill out to get your free money because of your Roundup claim that does not exist. So it did exist back in the old days. There was a claim. It's been already settled. There is no more money to be claimed from that. So these are all just fake.
Maybe they sent this out because the old people are stopped. Like Mike said, they're being old grungeums.
Yeah,
that's right.
Not clicking on anything,
Don't
but now they
click
see
on
their Roundup and they're like, dude, I use Roundup all the time in the old days.
That's right.
Okay. And I have cancer.
There you go. All right. Last but not least, let's go to your email here.
Why is mine the funnest?
Well, yours is something we talk about. Some of these are kind of repeating, but it's still always good information to have.
Okay, well, this is from mail.info.ac at geomatica.sn on behalf of Email Service Alert. So,
Okay. Don't know any of those companies, but okay.
That's a cool one. 2, customer number at coinbase.com.
Oh, at coinbase.com.
Yeah.
You don't even know your number?
It has a number here.
That's his customer and a number.
Or is this your customer number?
No, I don't have that customer number.
You're not customer 087553887?
No.
Oh, darn. I guess I can't help you out there. The new login attempt has been detected on your account.
Ooh.
Coinbase.
Okay. Oh, that's where I have all my cryptocurrency. We talk about it because it's a good site.
Hey, but this is not capitalized, so that's pretty off-putting for me.
Is it? If you have a company, you probably start with
you should have a capitalized letter there. Yeah,
okay.
And I'm pretty sure Coinbase thinks of itself not as
a lowercase lower.
Yeah, a lowercase name.
No.
I'm pretty sure.
Oh, you're right.
Okay, so this is a common thing. I get these all the time. New login attempts. A new login attempt has been detected on your account. Please review the login details below. This has a date and time and IP address from a location in Singapore using a Samsung Galaxy S21 Ultra. If this login attempt was not authorized by you, please reach out to our support team right away to protect your account and asset. Now,
yeah,
it has a number, an actual phone number.
Okay.
Kind regards, Coinbase. Now, when I get these every time I log into my stuff from different places, right?
Okay. But they never tell you to call the number.
No, because it's an attempt.
Yes.
If it's an attempt, I don't need to bother because they didn't get in.
Yeah.
If it's me, I know because I have to do my, what is it? 2-step, 3-step, 8-step,
2-factor authentication.
8-factor authentication where I have to open up 50 million bajillion little apps and click on things, and
it's good for you.
Yeah, that's really good.
This is another one aimed at the older generation.
Yeah.
Odie, would anybody in your generation pick up the phone and actually make a phone call?
No.
No.
Yeah.
Never. Chatbots away.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. So, did you call the number?
I did not call the number.
Why not?
I did not on the customer support line number because most of the time that they're taken care of. But I was just trying to do.
Let's call them right now.
call them right now? We have the technology to do that. But we have to be careful because if they actually come on the line and we're not telling them we're recording them, then we'll get in trouble. So
What?
Yeah. You have to tell them you're
They're
recording.
literally performing a scam. Why won't they?
Well, have you ever seen the Washington state law for making sure you're recording?
Well, all we have to do is, hey, we got your thing. We're doing the radio state. We're doing the radio show here. We want to do
that. You know what? Next time we do letters, I will hook it up so that we can actually call them live.
Yeah, maybe we should.
Okay. All right. Let's do that. All right.
Don't just ignore your emails. Ignore your emails. Okay. So this is the funny thing about all the stuff that we talk about.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's exactly like we did in the early 90s.
Yeah.
Ignore your emails. Write down your passwords on a notebook.
Yeah.
Don't click on pop-ups.
Okay.
Because you know what happens there.
That takes you someplace else.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
This is all the stuff we used to do
and don't listen to AI.
And don't listen to AI.
But what if I want to make a nice ice cream sandwich?
Hey, that better be the best ice cream sandwich you've ever had.
It could be the last.
Because it'll be your last ever.
All right. Well, that was our letter segment. We thank everybody for listening to that. Hopefully you found that informational. Remember, don't click on a link if you don't know where it's from. Just delete the email. If somebody really needs to get a hold of you, they'll figure out a way to get a hold of you either through snail mail or actually getting in touch with you. All right. Well, that ends up our segment. Now we're moving on to Mike's mesmerizing moment.
Welcome to Mike's mesmerizing moment. What does Mike have to say today?
All right. We talked a little bit about it, but I'm going to do the same question here. We're now the threshold of the buy now, pay later, BNPL. Now, I remember going to Kmart back in the olden days and doing layaway. Does anybody remember layaway and what layaway was about?
Yeah.
Okay. So layaway was pretty nice. What happened is if you were at JCPenney's or Kmart, and so you could go to those stores, and if you really wanted that Star Wars B-Wing fighter that was there and you wanted to make sure you get it, what you could do is you could take it to the back of the counter and you could put it on layaway. And what it is there was no additional price, but you would have to come into the store and you could make payments 3 or 4 or 5 or 6, however many payments you needed to,
right?
Within a 90-day period. And then after 90 days, if you didn't pay it all off, they would just keep the money and put the item back on for sale.
But that wasn't buy now, pay later. That was pay now, get later.
It was. Right. But now we're in the buy now, pay later mode. What's your thoughts on this?
My thoughts on this. Okay, so I have a favorite newscaster that I watch regularly on YouTube.
All right.
And he has a really good thing to say, and this is Philip DeFranco. I don't know if you know who that is.
I do not, but okay.
Don't be stupid.
Okay, that's what he says.
Yeah, don't be stupid. Okay. This is not a good thing.
Okay.
This is a way of getting yourself financially trapped into a non-ending system, and it takes advantage of your psychology in such a way that you, like I said earlier, it encourages more spending than you would normally do if you didn't have the money in the first place.
Okay.
It places you into a system which you are likely to keep spending in order to keep getting what you want.
Okay.
And then it keeps you on the financial hook, just like credit cards do. Because the credit card companies have been doing this for years and years and years, and they got it down to a science. Because if you're just paying your minimum payment, you're never ever going to pay off that credit card. They're going to keep getting money, and
13%,
they don't care. They don't care if you,
18%.
they don't care if you give them $30 a month, because when you multiply that by millions of people, that's a lot of money they're getting just from people just paying that minimum payment.
Yeah.
And this is, and if you think right now they're not charging interest, just wait till
the whole idea
you
is
have a lot of people doing this.
Yep.
They're going to start charging finance charges.
Yep. And then you're going to have to agree to their terms and conditions.
Yep.
And you're already going to have money in their account.
So
you're not going to be able to pay it all off at one time.
Don't be stupid.
There you go. Okay. Well, all right. Well, I appreciate that mesmerizing moment. We're going to head out for a commercial break. When we return, we have This Week in Technology. So now would be a great time if you have some whiskey on the side to do some simping, as we'll be doing so also. See you guys in a few minutes.
Hey, Mike.
Yeah, what's up?
Hey, so you know what? We need people to start liking our social media page.
If you like our show, if you really like us, we could use your support on patreon.com.
Or is it Patreon? I think it's Patreon.
Okay, Patreon. If you really like us, you can.
And you say I'm
like
the
us
English
in
guy?
Patreon.com.
I butcher the English language?
You know you butcher the English.
Okay, so it's
all the time.
It's patreon.com.
Patreon.com. If you
/
if you really like our show, you can subscribe to Patreon.com and help us out.
Oh, and you can visit us on that Facebook platform. You know, the one that Zuckerberg owns?
The one that we always bag on?
Yeah, you can. We're on Facebook too.
Yeah, like us on Facebook.
You know what our Facebook page is?
TechTime Radio.
At TechTime Radio.
Yeah.
You know what? There's a trend here.
It seems to be that there's a trend, and that's TechTime Radio.
Or you can even Instagram with us.
And that's at TechTime Radio.
That's at TechTime Radio. Or you can find us on TikTok.
And it's TechTime Radio.
It's at TechTime Radio.
Like and subscribe to our social
media. Like us today. We need you to like us.
Like us and subscribe. That's it?
That's it. That's that simple.
And now, let's look back at this week in technology.
All right, we're going to March 18th, 1931, the introduction of the first practical electric razor. Now, Jacob Schick's second Schick
razors. Do you remember those?
Yep. Jacob Schick's second commercial electric razor design hits the market. His initial attempt, released in 1929, featured an awkward layout with a cable connecting to the electric motor, the shaving head itself. Now, unsurprisingly, this model struggled to gain traction in sales. To keep his business afloat, Schick had to mortgage his home. The new design improved, though, as upon placing the motor inside the shaving head, significantly enhancing the convenience. Despite launching during the Great Depression, Schick's successfully sold 3,000 units that year for $25 each, about $400 in today's market, and reached 1.5 million sales by the end of 1937, thus pioneering the electric razor industry. Now, are you an electric razor guy or are you a manual razor guy?
I use an electric razor nowadays.
Okay, same.
I just don't have enough going on
that you need to worry about anything else.
Yeah, and plus, if you use manual razors, they are ultra expensive.
It does get expensive, and I always end up cutting myself. Just
what's funny?
What's that?
I swear, one of the funniest things that is happening in my lifetime.
Yeah,
we are going back to the way things used to be in order to save money. So now you can get online and you can get these old shavers that don't cost that much. And they're exactly the same things my grandfather used to shave with.
Yeah, you buy like the straight line.
Yeah,
you
buy the blades and you manually stick it in this razor and you use it, and you get the blades now for pennies on the dollar instead of $80 on the dollar.
Yep. So we're all going back.
We're all moving backwards
to manual
as we move forwards. It's funny.
That's right. Oh, well, that was This Week in Technology. If you ever wanted to watch some tech time history, with over 230 plus weekly broadcasts spanning for our 4+ years, we have videos, podcasts, and blog information all available at techtimeradio.com. Now we're going to take a commercial break. When we return, we have Mark's Mumble Whiskey Review. See you after this break.
Hello, my name is Arthur, and my life's work is connecting people with coffee. Story Coffee is a small batch specialty coffee company that uses technology to connect people to each product resource, which allows farmers to unlock their economic freedom. Try our Medium Roast Founder Series coffee, which is an exotic bourbon variety that is smooth, fresh, and elegant at storycoffee.com. That's STORI coffee.com. Today you can get your first bag free when you subscribe at storycoffee.com with code TechTime. That's STORI coffee.com.
The segment we've been waiting all week for. Mark's Whiskey Mumble.
Hey, you're dancing out over there. All right.
Do you think old boy over here was a little off the mark there?
He's been drinking a little bit, so we just did a time warp. It is really April 15th, not March 18th,
buddy.
Okay, well,
somebody forgot to update their script from a month ago.
No, I saw it there, and you know what? It was March. My bad. Okay, well, sorry.
But what are we celebrating today on April 15th?
We're celebrating
not tax day.
No.
I celebrate tax day every year.
Oh, do you?
Talking to that, Mike, today is your day. I've been picking on Nathan, but today is your day.
All right. What is it?
Why is it my day?
What is it?
It's National That Sucks Day.
Oh,
that's every day.
So this was created by an American web content producer who rightly observed that the date on which the holiday is observed today, April 15th, is quite notable for several unfortunate events and occurrences.
Okay.
Two of the most notable tragic events associated with April 15th are...
Tax day.
Well,
Yeah.
that wasn't one of them, but yeah, that's a good point.
Okay.
For the U.S. The
sinking of the Titanic.
Titanic.
Yeah.
Oh, I knew that. Okay.
And the day Abraham Lincoln died.
Oh, was shot, huh? Was it the day he died or was he shot?
He died.
Okay. All right.
Okay, so yeah, that makes a lot of sense. This is National Suck Day.
It is National Psych Day.
Yeah.
So, so you're
what
gonna
was
need,
that?
That was your.
Oh no.
That's your clip from the thing.
Is that my clip?
That's your potato, tomato, whatever that one is.
Whatever.
What-
Pecan, pecan, tomato.
There you go. All right.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. You know what's Odie has a whole bunch of sayings. We're gonna create the best albums of Mike's.
Mike's little. Where's the Hooked on Phonics one? I haven't heard that in a long time. Hooked on Phonics worked for you, didn't it?
So if you release this might be bigger than a William Shatner or Leonard Nimoy album.
What?
Remember when they did their speaking
do.
album?
I do remember
the
that.
singing. Yeah.
Have you finished Center Seat?
I'm going to drink
the
more stuff 'cause
documentary.
it's National
Almost. No,
Suck
I got
Day.
2 episodes left.
Okay. What did you find interesting? The Wrath of Khan episode. Did you find that
was
interesting?
good. I found them all in there, but yeah,
Hold on. I don't care.
What's that?
Let's get back on it being
sorry.
National You Suck Day.
Okay. All right. Okay.
All right. Back to Mike's day.
All right.
So I am celebrating today with you, Mike, by bringing in this whiskey. Now, Overholt is a historic rye whiskey brand that originated in Pennsylvania.
This doesn't suck.
Well, we'll get to that.
Okay.
Where the rocky soil favored the rye grain and helped establish the state's reputation for quality rye whiskey. In recent years, there's been a push to formally recognize Pennsylvania rye, defined as being made in the state with at least 50% rye grain. Originally produced in Pennsylvania, Overholt's production moved to Kentucky after Beam's acquisition in 1987, along with a mash bill change that added corn originally. The release of A. Overholt Straight Rye here aims to restore the brand's traditional roots by removing the corn and returning to its original style mash bill, although it is still aged and distilled in Kentucky. Now, I am not a fan of this whiskey.
Whoa.
But partly because it's 20% malted barley, and that's my threshold that shuts down my taste buds.
Okay.
So you know anything that's 20% or over on malted barley, it's just not my personal taste. It's nothing against the whiskey in particular. It's just me.
Okay.
On this flavor.
Okay.
Now, I did put this in a cocktail, and my wife asked me never to make anything with this for her again.
What?
With this particular rye. So it's not her style either.
Okay.
Finally, it's a little young. It's lacking complexity, and it is a bit underproof for what it is. But if you just want an easy sipper,
man,
that combines kind of that single malt flavor with a rye spice,
yeah,
this would be for you.
Oh, man, I can tell you this is for me. I'm enjoying.
So that's why when I talked to Mike before the show, I thought he's either going to love this or hate it because he's been a big uptick on rye, and he's always enjoyed single malts, and this is kind of blending those two in a way.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
And it wasn't far off the mark.
All right. Well, whiskey and technology are a great pairing, just like peanuts and popcorn, and the invention of Cracker Jacks.
Oh, come on. Really?
Oh, that's another thing that sucks.
What's that? Cracker Jacks?
I can't eat Cracker Jacks. Not for
Why?
me.
That does suck.
They used to get a toy in it. Now you only get a sticker. What's that? They used to give you little toys in there. But then I guess people are swallowing these plastic toys from China, and they're probably okay.
Yeah, leave it up to
All right.
people to mess up the things we love to do.
That's right. Let's prepare.
Does Odie even know what Cracker Jacks is?
You know what Cracker Jacks are, Odie?
No. Look at that. Look, that's the stare look of no. She's gonna now Google it during the
Take me out to the ball
game
park.
I've definitely heard the term. I don't think I've ever had them though.
Oh, it's a box with a.
Don't go looking for it.
There you go.
Okay.
All right.
Is it still on sale? Is it still in?
Yeah, they
there?
still sell.
there.
them. Okay,
They're
they
still
still
out
sell.
there.
'em.
I haven't seen it in like years and
Let's
years. So.
let's prepare for our technology fail of the week.
Congratulations. You're a failure.
Oh, I failed. Did I?
Yes.
Did I?
Yes.
All right, this week's technology fail comes to us from fake news cited on all major outlets that came from an X post. Now,
You mean Twitter?
Well, or Twitter, yeah, or Twitter. However, it depends on who's talking about it. Now, I actually fell for this myself. I actually was in conversations with people thinking that this was real. So here's what happened: a false X post paused tariffs. Is said that President Trump paused tariffs led to a multi-trillion-dollar market swing. No, the multi-trillion-dollar market swing
Yesterday?
on Monday. No, it was on Monday. This
On
was
Monday?
on
Okay.
yep. Appeared to have set up false reports from Elon Musk, experts said, highlighting the endurance factor. What happened is at 8:30 a.m., the National Economic Council's Kevin Hassett was asked during a live Fox News interview whether President Trump would consider a 90-day pause to the sweeping tariffs he imposed on many countries last week. Hassett responded, I think the president's going to decide what the president is going to decide. Now, X then took this and morphed it into a bogus headline that Trump was considering 90-day pauses on tariffs on all countries except China. Now, it appeared on an account called Hammer Capital, was the first to share the false report about 10:11 a.m. And the account then had 1,000 followers, and it had, of course, a blue verification badge, so everybody thought it was real. Now, other people picked it up, and soon, all of a sudden, you had Reuters, CNBC, and CNN, and all the major news outlets running with this headline. Now, interesting is the New York Stock Exchange trading floor had this information also, and all of a sudden, there was a big, huge influx of the market moving upward, not downward, with this information. But then all of a sudden, the White House denied the report. Reuters and CNBC soon backtracked. They actually ended up removing it. And then all of a sudden, the market tended to trend down.
Did it plummet?
It did. So it had gained $2.4 trillion by that time at 10:08 a.m. And then it fell back to normal closing. So by having a fake AIX tweet, you had information that affected our global economy to the tune of $2.4 trillion.
You know, I worked in the financial field back in the 90s, back before the internet.
In the 90s, okay.
And we used to talk about how funny it was to see how human behavior affected the markets.
Yeah.
This is a really good
analogy.
Well, yeah, it's not an analogy, but it's a really good example.
So I thought it actually happened too. I started texting some people saying that's really great that this tariff happened and now it's on pause and now we're not going to have to worry about it. Everything's going on. And then we had a whole bunch of conversations with a bunch of other people. Oh yeah, it's great. It's on pause. And then we all found out it was fake. All right. You know what? Speaking of some fake information, I was just at a security conference and we're going to talk about that on our Nathan Nugget.
This is your Nugget of the Week.
All right. So here's what my nugget. I just returned from a security conference in Florida. Now we're going to be talking about everything at this conference, was very interesting. We had deep fakes all over everywhere. Taylor Swift, Muhammad Ali, all attended our conference in full getup. Taylor Swift was asking questions and responding to questions about security. She's very smart. So Muhammad Ali was talking about his upcoming boxing match that he's going to have. And all of it seemed awful real, except for Muhammad Ali is no longer around and Taylor Swift did not join us. These were all done by real live action AI taking and morphing in information that was out there. Was somebody behind the main stage listening to the questions and relating to the organization that was there. It was it's called Know Before, KB4 Con event that I was at, and it looked so live that you would not think it was fake.
All right, I'm going to put you on the hot seat again.
Yep.
We talk about this stuff all the time, and you're always like, AI is so awesome. AI is so this and so that. And then you go to one of these things and this happens to you. Does that even change your mind at all?
Well, so here's the thing that I learned. No, not really.
Muhammad Ali come and talk to me, that would be like, yeah, that's fake.
Yeah.
Right. But having Taylor Swift.
Oh, Taylor Swift even knew how the weather was. She knew what we had for breakfast. I mean,
this all makes sense. When you came back from the conference, you were so down and disappointed. You didn't really get to meet Taylor Swift.
Is that what it was? I'm not Swiftie.
Oh, are you a closet Swiftie?
No, I'm not a closet Swiftie at all. So here's what we got from this conference. So it's very interesting because all these people pretty much said the government's not going to help you. Best of luck. You better figure out how to do it on your own. And if you don't, guess what? You're going to have to pay millions and millions in fines. But this is their solution for video conferencing and deep fakes. For your company to create a secret passcode, like a kid code back in the 90s. We're going to go all the way back in the 90s when I used to play outside. My parents said, "Hey, if anybody offers to give you a ride home or anything like that,
Stranger danger. Is that what you're bringing into
so
this? We're going back again.
So we had a kid code. So now what they're saying to do this to make sure that you don't get deep faked by any video conferencing software that's out there, whether it's Zoom or whether it's Microsoft Teams, that your company should establish a code word. And every time that you have a video conference, if they're not able to turn on the video camera, and even if they are and you're concerned, that you share your company's code out so that everybody knows that it's actually you. What do you think?
How
of
to
that?
see a
Banana.
Banana?
That's your code word. Banana.
Okay. All right. Well, I think we should create an app.
I think we're ending the show.
I think we are. I think we should create an app that has these special codes. There isn't anyone on the market yet. And I was just thinking there the whole time we should create an app. Your whole company
to give you a safe word?
Yes, you all have a safe word, and then you can and have it like a 2-factor authentication. Add it to Mike's.
I'll be platypus soup.
Okay, platypus soup. I won't. I won't
You're not
be
gonna
the other.
You're not going to be the other soup.
No, I'm not going to.
Yeah, because Mike's cyanide.
That's right. Okay,
there we go.
Our pick of the day. What are you guys going to say? What do we have here?
Oh, this is definitely a thumbs up for me.
Oh, a thumbs up for you. Yeah. I'm going to say definitely a thumbs up. Well, what are we tasting again, Mark?
Oh my goodness, this is A. Overholt Monongahela mashed straight rye whiskey from Jim Beam. 4 years, 95 proof, $40.
Okay. All right. Yeah, absolutely thumbs up. I think that's fantastic.
I like the flavor profile.
I did too. For $40. Yeah,
that's going to be.
I may move that on my second shelf, not the top shelf.
But yours is the cost and the whole.
You see my
cool
Travelers is up
cap,
there on my
not a
shelf.
screw
That's on my
cap.
second shelf. You need like Whiskey Chris know that I put it up on my second level shelf. All right. For all of us here at TechTime Radio, remember the science of tomorrow starts with the technology of today. See you next week.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for joining us on TechTime Radio. We hope that you had a chance to have that moment today in technology. The fun doesn't stop there. We recommend that you go to techtimeradio.com and join our fan list for the most important aspect of staying connected and winning some really great monthly prizes. We also have a few other ways to stay connected, including subscribing to our podcast on any podcast service, from Apple to Google and everything in between. We're also on YouTube, so check us out on youtube.com/techtimeradio, all one word. We hope you enjoyed the show as much as we did making it for you. From all of us at TechTime Radio, remember, mum's the word. Have a safe and fantastic week.